Welcome back. Was that quiet?
I don't. Why are you wearing a Knicks shirt?
Oh, honestly, I think I just put it on this morning. My 3-year-old woke me up at like 5:50, and it was dark in my closet because, I don't want to wake anyone up. And so I'm like walking in, and then I just like grabbed a shirt, and then I haven't had time to change. I've been like half asleep at my desk working all day. It's cozy though.
I was just gonna say only because they haven't been doing the best.
But it's my $9 cozy Knicks shirt. All right, you gotta.
I know. I was just letting you know.
How funny would that be if I was just like, oh God, I switched teams. So, surprise. No one would be surprised. Actually, I don't think.
Well, no,
they might be. Nah.
You can join all of the now former Mavs fans and new Lakers fans.
I was going to say I would love to, but I actually could never, would never, should never.
Rather die than ever root for the Lakers. Welcome back, everybody.
Hey, friends. Hello.
We have to talk about the Lakers today, though, because I don't know why. Nico, why?
All I can do is sigh.
If you were unawares, you probably aren't watching this, because if you're watching this, it's probably because you're involved in the basketball world. Luka played against his former team last night in Los Angeles, and the guy who traded him was there sitting courtside. And
can we just I just want to start with this because this makes me so mad. Like he's kind of a sociopath. Like he's literally like trying to like intimidate and like trying to make sure that like Luka sees him staring at him. Like he literally, so Luka was warming up. He is. And that's what I'm saying is like he's kind of crazy. Like Luka was warming up and Nico, which is the old Mavs GM, or not the old Mavs GM. He is the Mavs GM. Luka's old GM. Yeah. He was just sitting courtside, literally just watching Luka, just staring at him.
Yeah.
Like while they were warming up. I'm like,
it was real weird.
Yeah. I'm like, what?
Strange.
What are you doing?
My favorite insult ever. Real weird guy. Real weird guy.
Real weird guy. I called him a effing loser. I'm not gonna lie. I'm like, that's very mean. Like if you don't know me, I don't call people names a lot. And I was like, I feel this so painfully. He's just a loser. He is. Yeah, he's mean and he's like
behavior.
It is like you're sitting there like trying to intimidate him, and like shout out to Luka. Luka took off his long sleeve warm up and was like, "Call me fat again. Look how fit I am."
Luka was doing push-ups on the court. If you didn't see the pregame.
Yep.
He said, "Keep calling me fat," because they do. They keep coming out like every day. It's literally like it feels like a divorce where someone was in the wrong, but and everyone hates them. So they're trying to like get you to hate the other person. They're like, well, he did that to me, or well, she did this.
Been there, done that.
Yeah. Yep. And that's literally exactly what it seems like, because again, now they're complaining because he drank beer and smoked hookah. I mean, again, would I care if he was averaging like a triple single? Sure.
Yeah, if he's supposed to be this incredible player and he's averaging a triple single and he's so like unhealthy and is huffing and puffing at 28 minutes.
Sure. Yeah. Sure. Dropping 72 points and triple doubles, I'd say he's doing okay.
Comfortably playing 35 to 40 minutes just fine. I just I'm like Candace Parker was speaking all of our minds yesterday. Before the game, she was just talking about it, and pretty much they were obviously talking about the trade, and she was just like, I still just can't believe it. Like, I don't care if you're 390 pounds running up and down the court. Like, if you're leading me to an NBA finals, like, you yourself, and this is just factual. Obviously, Luka had a fantastic team around him, but he is the leader of that team. He's always been the leader of that team. And if you're taking this team to the NBA Finals at 25 years old, I'm sorry. You can do it. Go smoke some hookah in the back. I don't care.
KD
literally at halftime couldn't care less.
KD literally says like he's high all the time, like all the time. Kevin Durant
yes, there
says
are.
he is
there
high
are several players.
I know personally of players that are high all the time. Okay.
Yes, there are several players in the league that literally like helped fight to get like weed not banned anymore from the NBA and that are like now all over it. Klay Thompson is all over it. They all talk about it all the time. Like, yeah, we smoke weed. Like, I'm sorry, but it's hookah and a beer. If he's running 40 minutes and dropping like 40-point triple doubles, do your thing, my guy, on your time off.
Enjoy your beer. They had Pat Bev in the locker room of a Bucks game, literally shotgunning a beer after a game last year. I mean, I guess that's not the best example because Pat Bev is was sent to like Israel.
He is Mr. Triple Single, but still,
to be fair. But yeah, it's just they're dragging it, and it's like so. At this point, it's like it's over. You know, what's done is done. Just keep his name out of your mouth. Again, like it literally feels like a divorce where you're like, just stop talking about me.
Stop talking about it. Yes, because they keep like digging themselves a steeper hole. And I think that's like what makes me mad is like, yes. And like, that's the thing
you
that
thought
makes
he
me
was
mad
fat. Is like, we get it.
we know you think he's unhealthy. I just
you said it for every day since the trade.
Every day it hasn't ended. Like I'm surprised they're like, hey Luka, you don't have a Twinkie courtside? Is it a pregame snack? Like I'm surprised they're not making stupid comments like that because they're obsessed with it. I think what makes me mad is that like, you know, they're all butthurt about Mavs fans being upset and, you know, blah, blah, blah. And like the way that Mavs fans are treating Nico and all this stuff and not supporting the Mavs anymore. But I'm like, not once, not a single time has Nico tried to rectify this or like even talk to the fans as human beings or even Luka for that matter. Like not once has he just been like, guys, I know that this might suck. I know he's your favorite player. I believe in, you know, this trade. I stand by the decision that I made. I think that this will make our team better. I'm sorry it sucks. Like he literally is just like, nah, that guy was fat. He sucked. He was unhealthy. He was literally smoking crack out of his eyeballs. Like,
yeah, I don't know.
My
I've
guy.
had enough. But
me too.
what was hilarious though, as much as I hate Lakers fans, is they were all chanting last night, "Thank you, Nico," which I thought was absolutely hilarious. Like, when have you ever seen something like this happen? Literally never. Like, it's so funny. So last night that game happened. I was hoping for Luka to have a good game and for the Lakers to still lose because literally never once in my life will I ever root for the Lakers to win absolutely anything. Literally ever. And that's it. Them and OKC are fighting for their lives on my hate train. Okay. Like if OKC and the Lakers have no haters, I'm dead. I'm gone. Okay. I don't exist.
I'm hosting this by myself right now.
Yeah. Yeah. So let's start there. But anyway, Lakers the game felt, you know, the games that like get close, but it never really felt close. Mm-hmm. That's how it felt. Like the Lakers, you know, took charge of that game. Yes, the Mavs like caught up a couple times. They were down. I mean, I feel like it didn't have the intensity that I really wanted it to because it wasn't in Dallas yet. They still have that game, I think, in March or April. It wasn't in Dallas, and then AD was like obviously not playing. He was there. And then you don't have like Mavs ownership there. So I feel like that game's going to be like the anger game. But of course, like Luka did come out. He ended up with a triple double. He was passing incredibly. He wasn't shooting the ball like super, super efficiently. And
he shot like 35%. I think it was a rough shooting night, but he's been shooting rough since he came back from his injury. So I didn't expect him to like really have a perfect intense shooting night.
I'm kind of waiting for him to get like 20 games under his belt. It
Me
was
too.
great to see like just the passing though come back. And like, again, you know, for your first triple double, like back from injury, like to be against the Mavs, like that's pretty sweet.
It is. And especially because like he got to do like the fun Luka plays. Like he had behind the back passes, behind the head passes. Like he really was like being the playmaker that we all know that he can be. And it was so fun to watch.
Yeah, and he did make a couple threes and stared down the Mavs bench, which was absolutely hilarious. One of my favorite videos from last night was Luka at the free throw line and Derek Lively clapping when he made it before realizing that Luka wasn't on his team. He was like,
I don't think I've seen that. Oh,
I know.
Poor
Well,
thing.
I was wondering, I was like, how weird it must feel because it's like muscle memory when you've been playing with the same guys for like 7 years and in the same jersey. You know what I mean? Like, I highly doubt that Luka is like fully realized. You know, again, like it's like the videos that you've seen Steph like doing stuff like while Clay's gone. That's how I felt. I was like, oh, I wonder how like hard it is to like watch a shot go in and like be like, yes, and then be like, oh, I'm not on that team anymore. This not my
is
team.
making me so emotional.
Yeah, it's a lot.
I already had to cry about Clay. I mean, that one did personally affect me and my team because I am a Warriors fan. But like the whole thing is just like so sad. Like, did you see like Luka and Kyrie do their handshake at center court?
Yeah, and they both talked after. They were like, "No, that's like my brother. Like this is deeper than basketball." And Kyrie said, "He's like, I just love like he's like I'm just gonna protect him. Like he's not from, you know, America. He's not used to the degeneracy here." I was like, y'all are a bunch of degenerates.
I love Kyrie. Oh my, I literally have tears. I'm literally crying. It's just so sad.
It
fine.
It's a lot. Are you okay?
I'm so tired and hormonal and emotional, and I just, it's a day. Welcome to a basketball podcast led by women. Well, we'll be fine here.
But yeah, I mean, the Lakers, it's funny because literally the last episode Caitlin and I filmed last week was us talking about thinking that the only contenders were OKC and Denver. And now in my head, I'm like, why not the Warriors in the Western Conference Finals? Why not the Lakers? Literally like days later, I'm like, you know what? At this point, the West, like within days, looks really freaking open. I
actually wanted to ask you about like something similar to that because I saw Mavs fans talking because obviously the Mavs lost this game. If you didn't know, Lakers ended up coming through winning. And Mavs fans were saying, because obviously they're still riddled with injuries. You know, I don't think, is Daniel Gafford back? I don't think Daniel Gafford's back.
No, they had all three of their, it's so funny. Someone tweeted and they sounded so dumb because they said, wow, like Mavs are just lacking physical presence on both ends of the court. I'm like, because all three of their centers are in street clothes.
Yeah. Okay. Yes, it was what's his butt that came back yesterday, Dwight Powell, and he's a little bit of nothing. Love you so much, Dwight Powell, but he's meh. But so AD was still out, Gafford was still out, and Derek Lively was still out. And so yeah, exactly. You're missing your entire front court. And so I would say, like, technically they had kind of matching front courts because what is the Lakers front court? It's nothing. It's a Charlie Brown Christmas tree. It's my Jackson Hayes, the girlfriend beater.
That was him.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh. It's already, do you know how bad it is already to see my last name on a Lakers jersey on the court?
Yeah. And now he's a woman beater.
Oh, okay. Well, at least he's not fat.
At least he doesn't smoke hookah.
At least he doesn't drink a beer after a game.
Smoking hookah and drinking beer, super unprofessional.
Thank God.
Beating our wives and girlfriends. We could let it pass.
God. Yeah. Give him an extension. Give him an extension right now.
I didn't even ask you my question.
Okay, continue.
Everyone is saying that the Mavs would have whooped the Lakers had they been full in their front court. What are your thoughts?
I mean, I think the Mavs looked so insane with like the little glimpse, the little sneak peek that we got with AD, and they looked scary. Like as a Nuggets fan, like looked
terrifying.
Scary. Yeah. Physical, big, like everything that you could, athletic, like everything that you could really honestly want in a team, defensively and offensively. So I just don't, I don't know. Okay. Because the Lakers have looked really good still, even though they are lacking that like really big, like center presence. But I mean, it does say a lot that, you know, both teams were obviously came up for this game. And even though Mavs are like seriously injured, they didn't lose by much.
I agree. And like for me, I think you're right, because I'm the same way. You and I are both like contenders, you know, OKC and Nuggets, that's it. And now I'm like the same way, like watching some of the games yesterday and everything. I'm like, what do you mean? Like the Warriors could do this. A full Mavs, they could probably do it. I mean, Kyrie went crazy yesterday. Like it was pretty much Kyrie against the Lakers. He had 35 points, 7 rebounds, 4 assists, 3 steals, 2 blocks, shooting 44%. He commanded the entire floor. He commanded the game for the Mavs. He really, the times that it felt close was just the times that Kyrie was like playing catch up and getting back.
Insane shots. Yeah.
He was, and he was playing so well, which I love. Like I really loved seeing, you know, really Kyrie and Luka guard each other. Obviously, Kyrie worked Luka when Kyrie was on offense, because you know, Luka's not a fantastic one-on-one defender, and Kyrie's one of the best ball handlers this league will ever see. So,
Kyrie, literally one of the best finishers I've ever seen in my entire life.
Ever. Yes. I swear to God, he has like geometry just like ingrained in his brain chemistry with the basketball. Like he knows exactly where the ball needs to go.
It's insane. Yeah. No. And I also want to mention how I literally don't understand, because he did drop, I think, 16 points in the fourth or something stupid like that. How LeBron literally still like looks like he's like 32. Like I'm convinced if that man wanted to, he could play for another 4 years.
I looked at Jason yesterday and I was like, is he tired yet?
I know. I text Caitlin this every time, like we see LeBron like kind of going on, like, and it, like we're watching a game and we're just like, is he like,
he
do you want to go hang out with Zuri? Like, come on. Like, don't you want to golf? Pick up golf? I think it like really is going to boil down to, like, I literally don't even think his body's going to stop him. I think it's literally going to boil down to if he's like tired from how he has to keep his body like in shape for off season. Like, I think like that's the only way that he's going to be done.
Or because he's going to get so pissed off about having to fly to Milwaukee for a preseason game.
That was so funny.
I think I'm going to retire right here.
Can I ask why get on we're flying to Milwaukee for a I don't know, LeBron. You've been doing that for like more years than anyone else in the league. You could probably tell them why we're doing that.
I don't know, LeBron. I'm pretty sure the Nuggets and Celtics just went to Abu Dhabi for their preseason games.
It was awful. It was terrible watch.
Literally. But
I don't know why they did that at all.
Overall, too, I think that like, shout out to Rui Hachimura. I feel like he's been taking like command of the front court for the
Austin
Lakers.
Reeves and Rui like are both impressive, even though like obviously we're like focusing on LeBron and like Luka, because those are like your big names. Because I was huge. I was curious about how Austin Reeves was going to be. You know, I always say that he has a very punchable face. And then our friend Kale over at DNVR informed me that it's literally just because he's a white guy that can play basketball. And I was like, well, we have CB on our team. And he's like, and every other fan base wants to punch him in the face. I'm like,
that's probably true.
Anyway, Austin Reeves literally looks like a Chick-fil-A worker or a Publix worker, you know, one of those two. But he honestly, like, his playmaking ability is really impressive when you take the time to watch him like play. And I was really curious. I was just curious as how it was going to fit in, because, you know, you bring in Luka and like obviously Austin Reeves was kind of like that second guy that like LeBron was trusting, you know, like they had their kind of like real close relationship going. But Austin Reeves has been getting like 25 points a game and like has fit in, and he's really like had some. I was watching him yesterday and I was like, damn it, he's good at basketball. Like it was pretty impressive.
I literally texted her and I was like, it's gonna make me throw up saying this. And then I just like paused and I was like, Austin Reeves is good at basketball.
He's skilled. Like it's, you know, it's,
he's a very good player.
Yeah. And Rui Hachimura has really like, I felt like turned up like his, like intensity, like a couple notches. Yeah. I do want to say, I just want to address something because everyone, Lakers fans decided that because the Lakers have now won twice in the last 15 matchups and won for the first time in the regular season in 3 years that they, the Nuggets can't play. Okay. The Lakers, if you did not know, JJ Redick literally went on camera saying he had not slept since the Portland game. Okay? Like this man went on record saying, I did not sleep. Like twitching. He's scared. I literally told Kaylin, I was like, is he okay? Like he's unwell. Like he scares me.
He's sick.
He's intense. And shout out to the Lakers that you have a coach that takes a loss that hard. You know what I mean? In the regular season. But when I tell you that the Nuggets did not go in to that game taking it as seriously as the Lakers, I mean that 1,000%. 1,000%. Okay. You had triple teams on Jokic. It was more of they had employed, and I want to make sure I talk about this when we talk about the Thunder comeback against OKC. They employed on Jokic the same thing that the Wolves did on SGA 2 nights ago, which was more of a 2-2-1 zone. Like you had two guys on Jokic, but then a guy roaming. And so it on Jokic. So it essentially cut off all passing lanes. Jokic couldn't get the ball to him. He couldn't get the ball out of there. And it totally shut down Jokic. Do I think, first of all, everyone's like, well, every team's going to do this now. Every team can't do that because you literally have to have a Lakers sized team, a Cleveland sized team, a Celtics, I would say OKC. You have, OKC because they have iHeart and Chet. Mm-hmm. You have to have the dominant length and physicality because Nuggets came back and beat the Pacers' ass. Excuse my French. 2 days later. So I do think that it can work, and it was definitely it felt like a finals game 7 tactic, and Nuggets lost. It was an ass whooping. Again, I don't think we've beaten when you beat the Lakers 13-1 in 14 games, you don't come into that game thinking that you're going to have to give all of that effort. And the open guys just weren't making their shots. It was one of those. Do I think that would work in a series? Now that Jokic has months to try and almost Rubik's Cube it out, figure it out. And, which we know he likes.
It's a problem for him to solve.
Yeah. Which he loves. He said, they asked him when, some of our guys were out, how he liked playing with, Jalen Pickett and some of the deep bench guys. And he said, I like it. It's different. You know what I mean? It's something new. So I just wanted to say that Lakers, just because you had one win, pipe down, but it did show that their defense, when it's turned all the way up, is a competitive defense. It's a playoff defense.
Yeah. And the thing is too, is that first of all, shout out to JJ Redick because I was laughing because I literally went from making fun of him being Mr. Podcast head coach, going from
I thought it was a bit.
I thought it was a joke. Host. Yes, literally. I went from making fun of that to actually being genuinely impressed with him as a coach. He's winging it as he goes. He hasn't been a head coach. He played for quite a while, and then he comes out. He is doing the media type stuff and the analyst type stuff, and he picks up this head coaching job kind of out of nowhere. And he's just he's really crushed it. And obviously, like you said, he takes it very seriously. He didn't sleep for 2 days. And obviously it worked. It worked for the one game. I mean, shout out to the Lakers team as a whole because they obviously had to execute it perfectly. And the defense that he had them running, like you were saying, the whole 2-1-2, this zone type defense and everything, having
you have to buy
two guys
in. You have
on
to
Jokic.
All of those guys buy in to make it that effective the whole game. You know what I mean?
And they did. Jokic got 7 shots off during this game. 7.
Yes.
That's crazy.
It was so insane for Jokic. But what you're saying, it shows that they first of all, buy into what their coach is saying. And totally. It's impressive that that wasn't, a playoff situation. This was a game, a regular season game that they had to quickly execute this random defensive game plan that JJ came up with, and all of them bought in and all of them did, amazing. Like, so
I mean, literally,
shout out to
essentially
them.
everyone's job. Like you have in the zone defense and stuff, you have these two guys on Jokic pretty much the whole time. Like their job is to just make sure that Jokic never gets the ball. Jokic, obviously can't make XYZ passes. But then essentially all other three players, maybe besides one, because you do have someone, that's on ball at all times. But like say they pass down to Jokic, the second Jokic gets the ball, everyone on this team almost becomes a help defender. Like there were times where obviously you have the one roamer that would drop down and help and then you're triple teamed. There were times where Jokic was like almost figuring a way out of it, like almost able to pass his way out of it. And a fourth defender would drop down. There were times where there were four people and one other guy ready to try to catch any pass that he would make. And it's just like, I mean, for one game, absolutely. In a 7-game series, because the thing is that with that defense, you are banking on the Nuggets having an off shooting night. And it just won't happen for 7 games. And so for one game when we are shooting like crap, like last game, absolutely. It worked and it worked beautifully. It was very impressive. It was wild to watch. But
and you have everyone frazzled.
MPJ. Yes, exactly. But MPJ, Jamal Murray, CB, Aaron Gordon now, they're not going to.
Jamal was shooting some threes and stuff, but
he had 19 points.
Jamal was fine, but MPJ was, not really there. And then turnovers. I said in the last video, I said my problems with Denver, I think they're contenders if they can take care of the ball. They did not take care of the ball. There were literally 3,000 turnovers for 30 points, and then we only had 9 points off their turnovers. You're just not overcoming that deficit. They were everywhere in the passing lanes, are normal passing lanes. So it's honestly one of those things where they're going to have to, they're so used to playing through Jokic that they're going to have to almost play and figure out, just have to put Jamal back in that more of that facilitating role, which he can do, but that's just not usually how we run our offense. We run our offense through Jokic. So it's just one of those things that Michael Malone and the coaching staff is going to have to buckle down and be okay, if they deploy this. Yeah, it's just that was the annoying thing, is it seemed like Malone did 0 adjustments, and
there was not a one.
Everyone was coming up with these conspiracies, and one of the great coaches talked about losing a game, and he was well, I lost it on purpose because you want them to get comfortable. So everyone was so now there's conspiracy corner thinking Malone just wanted them to think that was the perfect system. That's so they can funny. Pat themselves on the back. And I'm I don't know, because it was weird that he didn't make one adjustment. That was weird. Not a single one. So I kind of want to join conspiracy corner, but it does seem ridiculous to lose your 10-game lose. I don't know. So it was good to see everyone was worried about, the strength of schedule and how Nuggets are and that was just not a great game for the Nuggets. And they haven't had the best games of above 500 teams this year. Their record isn't stellar, but thank God we came out. The Indiana Pacers have been a really, really hot team, and we handled business. It was another one of those games where they would kind of catch up and get close, but we controlled the whole game. So that was really nice to see. Tomorrow we play the Bucks though. So that'll be we have a long road trip. I think we play Bucks, Pistons, and Celtics, all teams that are fantastic. And
Pistons, tons of great competitors and lots of travel.
Yes, lots of travel. I do want to mention, so obviously the Wolves came back like I was talking about earlier, and to win. When I tell y'all, I was on the phone with Caitlin, and it was one of those where I had it on in the background because they were down 20 and I was so pissed. I literally called Caitlin. I was why can't the Wolves ever come on? Because it was so close 2 nights before. It was a back-to-back mini series, I guess. They played the first game in Minnesota. Shout out to Jalen Clark. I want him as a Nugget right now. He was a decoy in college, such a gangster. He got hurt in the 3rd quarter. He was locking Shea up single-handedly in that game on the game, that they lost first or whatever. He was locking
in
up
Minnesota,
Shea in Minnesota, and then he had a head injury and he went out. But Caitlin and I were talking about it. If you have a chance to go back and watch how he was guarding Shea, again, we talk about all the time, is one of the fastest drivers to the basket. And when you're like you have to remember the defender is like running backwards, trying to stay in front of him, and his footwork, chef's kiss.
I was baffled.
Amazing.
Yes, we were watching it and like both of us were texting each other like, who is this kid? Because one thing that I always say is that like I really appreciate good defense. And one thing that Spencer and I say a lot is a lot of the times you'll see great defense but better offense. Like, you know, Shea was still scoring on Jalen Clark. It's not like it's that's his name, right? Mm-hmm. That doesn't even sound like a real name in my head right now. I literally was just like, I'm fine. I think I just had like I'm good. Anyway, it didn't sound like a real name.
Sure.
But so he like when we were watching him, it's just like, it's crazy because like SGA he's fast. He's got great handles. He's very smooth with it. Like you're not going to see like, no offense, I love you, Jordan Poole. You're not going to see him like bobbling the ball around and sliding everywhere. Like he's very, as fast as he is, he's also very composed and very smooth, and he does things really well. And he was like Jalen Clark, this little rookie. I say little rookie, but he was, I mean, stayed on his feet the entire time, stayed in front of him. His feet were
forcing
fast.
Shea
like
to pass.
Yes, he wasn't fouling. He was, forcing Shea to pass, forcing really tough shots for Shea to make. And of course, Shea made them, but he was forcing these tough shots.
No, he
not
he
all
missed,
of them.
like, he missed several. Like Jalen Clark was clamping Shea Gilgeous-Alexander.
He was doing really well. Yes, he was doing really well.
And then on the other end, he was almost 100%, like the entire game from the field. I think he had like 5 of 5 from the field at one point, and then like he missed a couple, but he was having himself a game.
Very impressive.
Shout out to him. I was like, I want to see. Okay, after last night, I was like, I need to see Lakers and Mavs in a series, and I need to see OKC and Minnesota in a series. So, you know, things kind of collapsed. It felt like when Jalen Clark like went out, you know, it felt like he was really like setting the tone of that defense on Shea, and then you know, OKC pulled out the win. So I was really upset because, you know, it had been so close that whole game, and then, you know, the next game I'm like on the phone with Caitlin, and I'm like, of course they're down 20. Like, be so for real. And I'm like getting off the phone with Caitlin or about to get off the phone. And I was like, I look up and the score is literally within 1 point. And I like blinked 5 times. I was like,
yes.
When did this happen? They went on a run with, mind you,
while we were on the phone.
While Ant was on so I was so confused. I was like, did Ant, like, because we were on the phone, so I like wasn't listening. I was like, Ant's on the bench in his warm-ups, and there's only, and they're like a point down. So for whatever reason, this was the lineup, because I think that they were like almost to the point of being done, kind of like because they were down 20 or whatever.
Totally.
And it was like Rob Dillingham, what's his name? Terrence Shannon. Is that his name?
Terrence Mann?
No, he's on the Hawks now. Yeah, Terrence Shannon. So it was Rob Dillingham,
like,
Terrence Shannon Jr. Yeah, exactly. That's why. Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Nikhil Alexander Walker, Naz Reid, and Jaden McDaniel. So you had like some of your like, you know, important guys, but then, you know, you have some bench guys in there. So it was like, you didn't have Ant in there. Okay. It's like what I'm like trying to get
Rudy
at.
Gobert was out.
And Rudy Gobert has been out like for like 4 straight games. Well, Julius Randle's always in charge.
He's been out for like a decade at this point, for sure. I'm just saying that Naz Reid was their big. Yeah, Naz Reid was their big.
And so they like started chipping away, and basically they did the same thing where they were doing like that 2-2-1 like zone situation where you have like 2 guys, and they had 2 guys on Shea at like the top of the key, and then another guy roaming, and it was just forcing them to take like early shots in the shot clock. They're just like terrible shots for them. You know, it really disrupted, just like it did with the Nuggets, like their whole offense, and really it made them uncomfortable. And again, like, do I think that that's like gonna work all the time? Do I think like, oh, OKC, like, you know, maybe they're not as good as we thought they were? No, but it does prove that they do have like, what is it? Now I can't think of the words. Like they do have, what do I want to say?
Faults?
Yeah. They do have like,
they're not perfect.
And so that was really nice to see. And they were fouling like heck. They put, I think Minnesota like at the, at the free throw line like 17 times in 22 minutes, like something absurd. Okay. Like they were just,
it was wild.
yeah. And then we got to OT, and the best thing ever was Shea trying to go for, I think, to tie it almost to get them.
It was to tie it
to double OT, and he tried to foul bait a 3, which he did not get.
It made me. It just
like,
made me so.
Of course he did.
It made me so mad because, like, you all know, if you watch us, you know how I feel about it, okay? And there's no secret that I freaking hate it. It's so frustrating to watch because, like, when you watch someone, when he plays ethically, he's so good. Why are you foul baiting every shot? Because, like, when you're foul baiting, like, yes, because, like, the way that he does it is that, like, you're not even actually trying to shoot. Like, you're just throwing your body and throwing the ball, hoping that you get the foul call instead of hoping that the ball goes in. And, like, we've seen him play.
And that's literally what he did. I was like,
yes, from the 3-point line. Like, he had, I think, like 5 seconds. And so it was such a bad shot for him to take. It was taken horribly. Like, he was behind the 3-point line. Like I said, he had 5 seconds, and he just literally turns around and just chucks the ball up and flails his body and doesn't get the call. And I'm like, if you would have taken that 5 seconds to even just, like, dribble to the side, pump fake, anything, and gotten an actual shot up, you're freaking SGA. You probably would have made it. You don't need to foul bait the 3 and hope it goes in, and then hope you get the and one. But he missed it, and he didn't get the foul. So,
and the way to end the, like, regulation was Ant, like, did end up checking back in. I think once Chris Finch also said that he had almost resigned and sat everybody, like, and then, like, he saw that they were, like, kind of chipping away, and he was like, you know what, let's see what happens. So he said he was literally, like, seconds away. He, like, the next day when people were talking about him or asking him about the win, he was like, no, I was, like, literally seconds away from putting in, like, the reserves.
That is hilarious.
The, like, main reserves. But Ant did end up coming in, and Shea had gone up for, you know, a shot because I think, it was tied, obviously. And Ant got an insane all ball block, which, I mean, like, I think, I don't understand because, like, Ant's one of the most athletic people, like, ever, like, in the league. And sometimes I'm like, I feel like he forgets that he can do that defensively because he's, like, always so focused on his offense. Like, I'm not saying that he's a bad defender because he locks in sometimes, but when he's specifically locked in on defense, it's insane. And I just wish he was like that, like, all the time.
Well, because he's the kind of guy that, like, can be an incredible, like, 1v1 on ball defender, like POA defender. Like, he can literally, he's got the fast feet, he's got the athleticism. Like,
I mean, like, he jumped to block a shot once earlier in the season and his head hit the rim. Like, he has
I was gonna say, literally, he gets up there.
Yeah, so he I was gonna say a bad word, but yeah, he destroyed Shea on that last attempt. It was so good. And then Chris Finch, my hero, after the game said, you know, it's really annoying because their team fouls. They foul a lot. And then you can't really touch Shea. And I'm like, yes, this is what I've been wanting someone to say. I'm like, do you get, like, fined for that? Because he, like, didn't say, I always wonder. Like,
I don't know if he got fined for that.
Like, but, you know, because he didn't say anything about the refs. He just said you can't touch Shea.
Yeah.
Did you see Giannis the other night? Giannis the other night was like, how much is it to say something about the refs or the officiating tonight? And they were like, $25,000. He said, oh, I need to buy diapers. I won't say anything then. But it's like, but he said something. Like, he basically called them trash, but said, you're not worth me spending my money to call you trash. But I did inadvertently.
That's funny. I love
this is the year that I've actually liked Giannis, which is hilarious.
Me too. I've like actually thoroughly enjoyed him this year. I totally agree. And I think that maybe it's because
he's been so funny.
Yeah, and I think that maybe it's because, like, the season's not, like, all about the Bucks like it was for a couple of years in, like, the early 2020s, and he, like, really ran with, like, him, being everywhere and, you know,
Yeah.
his MVP, and he was extra obnoxious, but he's been funny, and he's obviously having an amazing season. And he's been really likable for me this season too.
Yeah, it was. I love how, like, because I've heard him say it before, like how he always turns it back to go, I need to buy diapers.
I need to buy diapers. Yeah, it's not worth the fine for me.
He's like, man, do you know how expensive diapers are? Like, that shit cracks me up. Like, I love that. I love that.
Relatable.
So shout out. I don't want to shout out the Wolves, but I'm just glad that you took OKC down a peg.
Are you okay, honey?
What is it that Shannon says? OCD, OKC, KFC, Lakers in 5.
Yeah, Lakers in 5.
Lakers in 0 if you're playing the Nuggets. Anyway.
Lakers in none.
Denver in 4. But yeah, moving on. I really want to talk. I've been dying to talk about my East Coast team.
Let's talk about the Pistons.
The Pistons won again and again and again and again and again and again and again. 7 in a row. I'm sure that ends tonight because they do play the Celtics. But
Celtics are also on a win streak. They're on a 6-game win streak. Cavs on an 8-game win streak. So this will be impressive. This will be a good game.
Well, that's why I was like, well, we have to talk about them now so I can brag about them on a streak before they probably lose to the Celtics. Who knows, though? I mean, listen, hey, if they either beat, I'm not going to, they need to beat the Celtics because I don't want them to beat the Nuggets. So if they beat the Celtics, though, like, some conversations are going to be had.
Some conversations.
We're going to have some conversations. Can we just talk about how the Pistons have the best win streak that they've had in a decade after being literally the worst team in the league last year? Everything, I will get emotional about this because I keep seeing clips of the video of where Cade's like head down, shoulders down, and he was like, we're not like 2-28 bad. Like, there's no way we're that bad. And I
remember that. I remember that.
Stop it. So shout out to the Pistons. They have been playing again. If you don't watch them, like, because you're like, it's the Pistons, they're so fun to watch. They've got a bunch of young guys. They went out in the offseason. They got Malik Beasley and Tobias Harris, which, funnily enough, I guess that's a word. Tobias Harris has actually been playing really well. Malik Beasley, I've been dying to share this stat with you, especially as Steph Curry lover you are, Caitlin. So if you didn't know, also, Malik Beasley has been balling at the 3, and not just like he's putting a lot up or good efficiency, not putting a lot up. He's putting a lot in, and he's putting a lot up to go in. He's
shooting 43% from 3 this season.
Right now he's 42%. So 42 to 43%.
But same, yes.
Of 22 players taking at least 8 threes in a game, Malik Beasley is number 1 right now in 3-point percentage. Yep. And then only one player in NBA history has hit 42% of threes while attempting at least 11 per 36 minutes. And that was Steph Curry, who has done it 5 times. And if Malik Beasley holds this percentage, he will join him as the only other player to ever have done that in a season. He is
literally
balling.
Said that. Yeah, I literally, one of like the first notes that I wrote down, because you think about it and you're like, okay, these are the Detroit Pistons. They were the worst team in the league last year, one of the worst teams in the league last year. And they've been the worst team in the league for a really long time. They've been rough. They had a tough season last season. Yeah. And so to come out and have the season that they have had, literally adding a couple of vets, it just goes to show how adding a couple of good vets can really change a lot for you, and just letting your young guys develop and then adding a couple of good vets around them. It's amazing how far they've come and being as good as they are right now, because you get Tobias Harris, who's kind of had some up and down seasons the last several years, and he comes out and he's having a fantastic season. Malik Beasley comes out and is having one of his best, most efficient seasons. He's shooting so well, and just these two guys have just kind of come out of nowhere. They kind of brought them out from the dumps. These were guys that you just kind of saw on deep benches.
Yeah, he got a lot of the blame in Philly, which makes me happy for him because it's like you get sent to Detroit, so you're like FML, like I'm going to Detroit, one of the worst team in the league. And then how funny is it that like Detroit's literally rising through the standings and Philly doesn't even want to win games anymore. It's been insane. And then you have Cade, who's like their leader, who is just so incredible and has improved in literally every single category. Like the past few games, he's casually just getting triple doubles or almost triple doubles with like 30 points. He's like, he's feeding his team. He's rebounding, like he's everywhere.
I'm so proud
He's
of him.
shooting so efficiently. The other night he didn't have the most efficient game. And, sometimes
we all have those games.
We all have those games, but he's just been so incredible. And especially like just for his size, I think it's made him like just so hard to guard. Cause like if you look at him, like he's not like Shea to me is so skinny, like, and not like tight, not like Chet, but like he's just like slim. And like Cade's kind of built, like he's muscular. And so you have like, he's hard to guard. He's hard to defend. Like you're not going to bully him like anywhere. And then you have their center who's really, I think he's only like 23, Jalen Duren. He might be 22. He has been incredible. He's averaging a double-double right now.
I was going to say, I literally call him Mr. Double-Double because he's just been going crazy. Yeah.
He's been going crazy. And then like he's averaging 4 to 5 assists I think it was 4 assists on the season. And then the last like 6 games or so, like 5 or 6. And some of the passes that he was dishing out the other night were quite impressive. Like he's obviously not your like Nikola Jokic center that you're like running your offense through. Obviously that's what you have Cade for. But it's actually like his game is just impressive. And again, like he's huge. Like he is built.
He's
like
a big
muscular.
dude. Yeah.
Like it's insane to think he's only like
solid.
22. Yes. Like you can see the ripples of muscle. I'm like, wow, Jesus, I thought you would like 30. Like he does not look young. Like he doesn't look like one of the guys that's like one of the younger guys in the league. And then you have Asar Thompson, who thankfully is not as aggressive as his brother, who is like literally throwing people in games. If you haven't seen Amen Thompson, I'm sure you all saw him like literally stop like Tyler Harrow like last month. He literally like grabbed his jersey and like threw him on the ground. Last night he like jumped on Giannis like to try and defend, but then he like grabbed Giannis around the mouth and like pulled him back. He
like choked him. Yeah, it was a flagrant
with
two.
A flagrant two.
Crazy.
Which I was telling Caitlin was hilarious because they were asking like who got more in trouble. Like I think between the twins, Asar and Amen. And Asar was like, oh, Amen. Like he was always like fighting. And I'm like, I can tell. We know.
I can see that.
So you have Amen, who he of course reminds me like Peyton Watson to me is like the third Thompson brother. Like they're just those really long, lanky, athletic wings. And he's he's been incredible.
Throw him in there too.
Like they're all like the same like build and body type, but he's just been so impressive too. And I feel like he hasn't gotten as much love as Amen because Houston was just on such like a hot streak and a hot start. But he's just been like, this team is just so fun. And like from where they were to watch them all like just improving so much. And they all play for each other and they're all happy for each other. They all come out like dogs every night. Like they don't come in thinking, we're probably not going to win this one, but we'll try. Like they're coming in like we have a chance every night, and the belief is going to get you halfway there. So I am obsessed with this Pistons team. Obsessed. I love them.
Yep, and they're out here killing it. I love seeing them win. It's making me happy. And before
I'm nervous for tonight though.
Oh, me too. But I was going to say before we finish up, you want to know who else is winning? The Golden State Warriors.
They are.
Who are 6-1 in their Jimmy era.
Listen, I knew Jimmy was going to ball out, to be fair. And not going to lie, there's nothing more annoying to me now than Jimmy Butler because he's like, this might be the best organization I've ever been. Oh, out of your like 12? And I'm like, I literally was like, give it 3 months. Let's hope they're not out. Let's hope they make it past the play-in and maybe past the first round or Jimmy's going to be out of there. Yep. But he has been obviously incredible. And you know what was funny is because we talked about a couple weeks or a couple episodes ago about how he like gets to the free throw line, and that's something that, you know, the Warriors aren't really used to. Someone it was Tim Legler made a really good point on the All NBA show the other day. He was saying, he's like, I don't want to you know, like make it a bigger thing than it is, but he's like, when you think about it, if he's getting to the line like 6 or 7 times, that's like 2 minutes of extra rest for Steph Curry, like who, you know, who's obviously older. And he's like not saying that that's going to make like a difference in the finals or something, but he's like, for right now, like you're giving Steph Curry like a minute to rest at half court, because he does so much running. Steph does, like when you watch, he never stops moving. And so
Literally
I was like, that was like an
possession.
interesting thing to take out of that like while Jimmy's getting to the line though, like if Steph's on the bench, you're giving him an extra like minute or 2 on the bench. Like if he's at half court, you're giving him like a minute or 2 to catch his breath. And so I thought you'd be interested to hear that.
You know, okay, you're gonna appreciate this, because I never know, like, you know, the cute little references that you do, the little internet references that you do, but the other day I was like, I have to make a TikTok, and I want to do it with like with SGA shooting free throws and be like, I don't really like foul grifters, and then get a video of Jimmy Butler and be like, I think I'm kind of starting to like foul grifters.
I think I really like foul grifters.
I was like, I feel like I have to, because it's just like, it's so good. And you know what? I'm not saying
starting to like foul grifters.
Think I'm really starting to like foul grifters.
That's but like, so funny though, because that's how I feel when Jokic hasn't gotten a call the entire game, and finally he just like grifts a foul, and I'm like, I hate that I loved that.
Yeah,
like,
me too.
I hate that.
That's
I loved
me
that.
with Jimmy. I'm like, ew, I'm smiling while he's at the line. Ew, stop. Ew, I hate it. But like, I mean, just like as a Warriors fan, like, Steph doesn't go to the line. Clay never went to the line.
Yeah.
Like, no one's ever going to the line in Warriors games. We usually average like
Steph and Jokic could have their
total.
like insides on the court, and they'd be like,
ripped out.
Personal foul on you.
On you. No, literally.
On you.
Steph Curry's like, I think like probably his least favorite thing is that like he'll literally be getting hacked and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And he'll still make the layup or whatever, so they won't call it. And he'll literally look at them, and the ref will be like, I didn't see it. I'm like, you didn't see what? Like, he was literally getting punched in the face. Like,
that happened. Luka got a tech like maybe 2 minutes into the game, but it was so valid because he, like, a guy literally like grabbed his, I forgot who it was, had his entire arm.
It was PJ Washington.
Yeah. And he literally, you could see him mouth the words, what the fuck? And then it went back. But I was like, to be fair, Luka does complain a lot, but I'm like, hey, dude, like, you were literally right there. Like, how did you miss that?
Dude, and it was a very clear foul. Like, it was literally
the whole
like
arm.
Perfect.
I was like,
yes.
Okay.
God. Literally. But either way, Warriors are winning again. And I was going to ask you, do you think that they're going to get out of the play-in? You think that they can do it? I think that they can. I think that they're going to end up 6th.
The Grizzlies almost lost yesterday to the Suns, who clearly have been terrible.
That was a good game.
Yeah, it was like 95-98, like within the last so I really don't have much trust in the Grizzlies to like keep the position like up top right now, but I'll have to look at their schedule to see, because I mean, if they have a bunch of easy games, you know, but I never know like who has like the strongest remaining schedules, you know.
Yeah, some people look at that a lot more than I do, I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah,
but the Grizzlies did win in overtime against the Suns. It was just it
was overtime. Yeah, exactly. So they almost lost to the Suns. Yep. I'm not really banking on them. The people that are like my question marks right now are the Lakers and the Warriors. Like, they both look like kind of interesting, and like Mavs for sure, like if everyone's healthy, but I like have to see everyone come back first. But like as of it stands right now, like I'm way higher on the Lakers and the Warriors than I was literally when we filmed on Friday, like about contenders.
Literally
I was like,
same.
I was like, the Warriors are like good. Like, I can see them getting out of the play-in, but like I can't see them going to the Western Conference Finals. But like, I'm not counting them out, especially with playoff Jimmy. And like, he's really good at taking on roles when he needs to. And he's just been great. He's been literally fit in seamlessly.
He has elevated the entire team. And I think that's like what's great is that like not only that, but like he's really taken on like a true vet role. Like he and Pods get along really well. Like I'm like, that's like the most random friendship in the world. I saw them like
laughing during a game, and I was like, Jimmy looks like the dude that would like literally be like, Pods, like go get me like it's midnight, go go get me a Coke or something from the corner store. I don't know, like
totally.
He looks like he would
they're like
be
little
a bully.
besties. Yes, and they're like little besties, and like he apparently gets along with everyone really well. Everyone said that like he's enjoying his time so much that he's now like staying late for practices, showing up early, which he's never done with other organizations. Apparently he like is doing all this extra stuff for the organization and I don't know, all sorts of stuff. So I mean, I'm glad that he's happy because
I'm glad that he's happy for now. I don't trust him.
Me neither. Oh my gosh. I don't trust it in the long term, but just like.
But he's old, so maybe this could be his last,
This could be it for him, his last hurrah. Yeah. But he, not only does he elevate the entire team, but he also like takes off so much pressure from Steph Curry. Like he gives Steph Curry the ability to work because you have another offensive, guy like Jimmy Butler that people do have to defend and do have to double. And so you give Steph Curry so many more chances and you give him the ability to
you can't
move
just
off the
double
ball.
And triple Steph and then pray that everyone's going to miss their shots when Jimmy Butler is the guy that you're banking on missing all his shots. That's certainly
and like
not going to
yesterday, it was against the Charlotte Hornets. This is the last thing I'm going to say just because I find it really impressive. But this is against the Charlotte Hornets, so I'm not saying anything's crazy about this. But the most anyone scored on the Warriors team was 16 points. The most. And they beat the Charlotte Hornets by 28. Everyone was eating. They had like 8 guys in double digits. And I mean, everyone played, everyone absolutely annihilated it. And they play really well together. And they're all like, the vibes are totally different than they were pre-trade deadline.
Yeah.
Like it's pretty crazy. So I'll be very intrigued to see what happens.
I know. I'm excited. I'm just so excited to see how things shake out, especially because it does look like the West again is like something so intriguing where like so many teams look so good. It's funny because again, we talked on Friday about how our contenders and we said like we thought kind of like 4 teams probably overall could win the finals. And I like before we go, I just wanted to it's funny speaking of the Knicks because I think they're like literally 0-7 against like the top teams in the East and the West. So
they are.
I don't know what to do with that information.
I've been trying to think about it because I feel like they're overall I really do think that they're a great team.
But I think the Celtics have their number. I don't think there's any potential of them getting past the Eastern Conference Finals unless someone knocked out the Celtics. But then I also don't trust them against the Cavs. So you would have to randomly hope that the Celtics and Cavs get knocked out, which I literally don't see happening. So I said that honorable mention, my 5th contender, real contender was the Knicks, and I take that way off. Yeah, no.
Yeah, I'm covering it up because I kind of agree with that. They, they're 0-3 against the Celtics, 0-2 against the Cavs, which means that they still have 1 more game against the Celtics and 2 more games against the Cavs. And then they are 0-2 against OKC as well. My thought is I'm kind of somewhere in between. I think that a lot of it just shows how great OKC, the Celtics, and the Cavs are. It really does show just kind of that they're really a level above everybody else because the Knicks will play really well against a lot of other teams, but not the best teams in the league. So I think that they'll be fine when it comes to getting out of the first round of the playoffs. But I think after that, they're screwed.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. I'm really excited to see what happens.
Me too. I love how
these things shake out. I know. I can't wait to watch Pistons and Celtics tonight. It's going to be so good. Or really bad. I hope it's at least competitive. If they lose, but they're in the game, that will make me so happy. Like to be
No,
like,
me too.
They can hang. They can
Yes.
hang.
That's literally
'Cause
all I care about. Like that's the one thing that like people are like, oh, aren't doesn't it suck watching the Wizards lose all the time? And I'm like, no, I actually love like watching them compete. Like they'll compete with good teams for 3 quarters. Just like cut the game off at the 3rd quarter. 4th quarter, they're out of here.
The Wizards. I get really, I haven't learned all their ways yet because I have been watching, them more, but I really get excited because they're like competing, and then for whatever reason, the 4th quarter they let go of the rope completely.
Yeah. Well, people swear it's for the tank. I'm like, okay. But
they're
the
like,
first
we're going
3
to show
quarters,
you how good we
in
could
it.
be for the first 3 quarters. And then the 4th quarter,
They
we are reminding you that we are tanking.
Period. They actually won a game last week. So I don't know.
They beat the Nets.
They did beat the Nets. They beat them by
Wasn't that
like
6 2 days ago?
It was. And I'm still riding the high from it. We are winners right now.
Yeah, that's me
And
and
we
my...
play the Trailblazers tonight, so we could win 2 games maybe. Well, they've actually been pretty good. The Blazers have been, so.
Yeah, it'll be... They'll win the first 3 quarters maybe.
I'll take that.
All right. Well, we have to go because we can't stay here and chat forever. Even I was going to say I wish I could, but I would lose my voice. So anyway, we thank you for being here. And if you haven't already, make sure you like, comment, subscribe, all the fun stuff. Put the notifications on. If you're new here, then check out our socials below. We are very active, probably overly active on those. And that's how you'll know when we're... I'm not. It's my page. If you don't want to see it, then don't look for it. So we're always on there. We love to talk to you guys on there. Please comment. We'll trying to respond to literally everyone unless you're evil. And that's all I have to say. Anything that you have to say, Caitlin?
Nope. Thanks for being here. We're so happy to be here and so happy that you are here. Like, comment, subscribe, share with your dogs and your dog's friends, maybe your dog's sitter.
Leave it playing when you leave the house for your pets as background
whatever
noise.
It takes. We actually have really soothing voices. So while you sleep on repeat, great idea.
I hate my voice.
Is that creepy?
Anyway. No, I just hate my voice. So I would never suggest someone
not
listen
yours,
to me. You're like, yeah, I hate your voice too. It's so annoying.
Yours also sucks. Yeah.
Valid. I don't like listening to you either. We love you. We appreciate you. And we will talk to you sometime in the future. Okay, bye.
Bye.